前回、同じそのパシフィックインテグラル GTC 主催しているグループで、気候変動のプログラムもやってましたが、すごい世界中からたくさんの人が参加してましたよね。で、そこの気候変動と発達について、私の周りでも、そこについて知りたいっていうふうに言ってる人っていうのはいたんですが、ぜひそれについてもお話ししてもらえますか？
Yeah, I think the connection there is partly my own, just that I come from a background of working in environmentally oriented work, sustainability and climate work, and we see it as it's a place of application for these ideas and principles and ways of being in the world, and climate change, of course, is a very complex, challenging global issue, and while we've had some things that have helped us to maybe move the issue forward at a global scale, we're really struggling to make a significant difference. I think part of it is because we lack a capacity to coordinate our efforts at a global level, but also because there's so many different views and values around climate change and what it will take to implement solutions. So, in that field of practice, you could say we've had a number of solutions, we've got technologies that we can implement, we have lots of different ideas for what will help us address the issue, but we're not moving the solutions forward at the rate that we need to. And so, from an integral perspective, we're starting to recognize, if you keep trying to create systems change and it's not happening, then can we get curious about what the barriers and the blocks are? And from an integral perspective, we, recognize that we're focusing on the external parts of systems change and technology, but not so much engaging human interiors at the level of collectives, culture, and the level of an individual around meaning making. So if we bring in this interior developmental piece, then there's a few things that makes possible. One is just understanding motivations and values and views about these issues, how we can coordinate across those differences. We can communicate about climate change strategies in a way that might address the needs of different constituents. That's one piece. And I think another piece is that as the climate change leaders or change agents themselves grow and develop, how they approach their work has the possibility to potentially be more effective, maybe to have deeper impact. So I could describe it, in my own life as a change agent when I was pushing to create change. Sometimes I think the world wants to push back. It's not worked so well. So I've learned through my own trial and error, making lots of mistakes and also through my own development to realize that there's other ways to approach change that actually might have a deeper impact over time to coordinate across these different values-based or developmental differences in communities. So that's where we're bringing a developmental perspective and inner development work to climate work.
素晴らしいですね。そうですね。アビゲイルさんがやってくれてるお仕事っていうのは、教育とかリーダーシップとか、その気候変動とか、すごくその具体的で、しかも私たちにすごくその大事なテーマを、具体的なテーマで扱ってくれているなというふうに思っているんですけれども、今後アビゲイルさんはさらにまた違うジャンルをやっていくのか、今後どんなことを考えていらっしゃるのか教えていただいてもいいですか？
Well, thank you for the question. I actually feel quite full with everything I'm doing, and truthfully, I absolutely I love all the work that I do, and I particularly love the work with Pacific Integral because it's really the depth work that I get to do, and I only want to keep doing that, and also be able to bring that work to more people. I just notice how I think about sometimes where does the world's needs meet our own impulses to create change in the world and to make a positive contribution, and I see how personal development I think has such a amazing potential to make a difference for these global issues, and so I only want to keep doing that work. And I also see how as people engage in their own development, there's a possibility for deeper happiness, for deeper service, for deeper effectiveness in their work. So yeah, I can't imagine doing anything else. I just would like to support that work to expand and to be accessible in other countries and, at a greater scale.
ぜひ日本でも何かやっていただけたらなと思ってますので、よろしくお願いします。
Thank you.